Buongiorno! If you ever wondered what it would sound like if you have an Italian band doing heavy metal, hard rock, and a little bit of dad rock or AOR, and you would wonder what that band would look like and sound like, well, I guess I have an example for you. This one is called Lucid Dream, The Great Dance of the Spirit. This is continuation to the band's fourth album, Otherworldly, from 2016, but now with a new lineup. This is mainly, I think, one man operated, but definitely not just run by one man project. The guitarist Simone Terigi, who seems to be the captain of this ship, but he's definitely not alone here, because obviously he has gathered some talented musicians to guide this ship through the storms and shallow places. And the deal here is he's actually flirting a lot with heavy metal, also a lot with hard rock, but also with the kind of a softer parts remind me of so-called dad rock or stadium rock, or just whatever you want to call it. For heavy metal fans, this album might seem like way too soft and nice and clean and beautiful and kind of a happy. But also for a hard rock people, this might be not rocking enough. For that core dad rock audience, this just might be even too much heavy metal. Hard to say the actual audience who is totally the kind of a core audience for this band. Nevertheless, here you have the band's basic information on Metal Archives for the album by now, and all this lineup information here seems to be rather outdated, especially if you take a look at the booklet over here, so wouldn't pay too much attention to this members page at the moment. As you can see, this album came already out earlier this spring 2020, and this delivers you some almost 60 minutes of material. And to be honest, that's a little bit too much, because while this album is kind of a nicely written and all that stuff, it also feels a little bit like too much to handle. Because to be honest, and I don't want to be mean about it, some of the songs are maybe too lengthy, and definitely they are not really catchy. And what you would expect from most heavy metal band is that you have kind of a catchiness, you have the memorable parts and all that stuff. Yes, I'm talking about bands like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Manowar, and the list goes on. Now, nobody wants to do music that is too hard to get into. Doesn't matter if we're talking about avant-garde bands or weird, artistic, experimental, extreme metal acts. Some bands will say, "You're not bound to understand it." Yeah, right. Maybe you will say it in your defense when you get poor review scores. But especially when we're talking about more mainstream approach, which is very much the key here, is like everybody likes to be liked. Maybe not by everybody, but definitely we want to go into the direction where the music is likable, it's catchy enough, and it's, delivering between you and the band the kind of emotions, the whole palette of colors. Now, thing here is, I think mostly this album is nicely done. There's nothing wrong with the production, and the vocals are pretty okay, but they do lack a little bit charisma. They do lack the kind of a Dickinson or Halford or Dio factor. It's something like, yes, I don't even care if the songs are not that good, but because I love the vocalist. Now you're like, the vocalist is just quite okay, but nothing mind-blowing. Unfortunately, also the same seems to apply to these songs. Really easy to listen to and kind of a nice summery feeling to it, but something is not totally clicking here. So while it is easy to listen to, it's also rather easy to be totally forgotten. So I don't mean to slander, because this is not bad. This is a decent album, but beyond that, nothing really happens so much that this is worth praising. So, in case you just happen to be a fan of traditional heavy metal or hard rock, and you don't mind a little bit AOR in your soup, give this one a chance. But other than that, this is not gonna be the deal breaker you're looking for in summer 2020. With these words, clickety-click to your favorite streaming services and give this one a chance. Other than that, no go. See ya and take care with your summer of 2020 and finding new music.